Um, let's get to the fucking news. Okay, let's get to the real shit. First and foremost, Antony Blinken is in China. Colin Ruggs says Antony Blinken gives China the green light to invade Taiwan during his visit to Beijing, China.
On Taiwan, I reiterated the long-standing U.S. One China policy. That policy has not changed. It's guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, the 3 joint communiques, the 6 assurances. We do not support Taiwan independence. We remain opposed to any unilateral changes to the status quo by either side.
For people who are mad about this, they just have, I guess, never really heard an American, an actual American non-brain broken individual like Biden or Nancy Pelosi talk about this. Because since Richard motherfucking Nixon, since normalization started, this has and will continue to be America's statement on Taiwanese independence. They always have claimed that Taiwan is still technically a part of China, where they are, it's one China, but 2 systems, okay? That's it. And on the other hand, while they've maintained that perspective for diplomacy, they have still simultaneously given a lot of weapons and a lot of training to Taiwan as well. Even back when it was literally an unhinged. Taiwan now is very different than what Taiwan was in its inception, for the record. But originally, Taiwan was literally led by people who lost to Mao and claimed that they were the real China, that the entirety of mainland China belonged to the Taiwanese or not the Taiwanese, but the Chinese that were in Taiwan, and that America's perspective originally was that this military dictatorship was actually the real China. And then Richard Nixon changed that dynamic, okay, dramatically. Normalized relations with China in general. It opened up a lot of doors. It actually led to a tremendous amount of Chinese prosperity down the line and created the Chinese nation state that you know now, okay? So it's more so America lying usually that has led people astray, because they claim that there's a one China, 2 systems policy, but then they also simultaneously are like, yeah, we'll do everything we can to push for as much autonomy for you as possible on the side. So that's it. That's always been the case, and they're not hiding it. They don't really lie. They're very open about lying, is what I mean. Like, America has always been very open about, saying one thing about China and then doing an entirely different thing. But what he's saying here is no different. What he's saying right now is no different than the exact same principle that has been in existence since Richard Nixon. So that's just how it is. This is how one country, 2 systems is Hong Kong, not Taiwan. I mean, they have a similar fucking process for Taiwan as well. What do you mean? They just see it as an like a region with some level of autonomy, but it's absolutely one China. So is this statement simply to appease the CCP? It is. Hasn't our position been that we recognize China's position, but we don't agree or disagree? At least we could have, maybe we're trying to pull a Nixon again. The only time that they have strayed away from this position was when Joe Biden had a brain fart and literally was like, we'll fucking invade China if China does anything to Taiwan. Outside of that, they've always had this position. This is not new.
We continue to expect the peaceful resolution of cross-strait differences. On Taiwan, I reiterate.
So yeah, that's, I like that this is like the unhinged response to that though, overall. We view PRC as China and remain ambiguous about whether we defend Taiwan or whether the status quo to change. Yes. We're going to talk about the missing submarine in a second. Why would they change this? That would mean nuclear war. I mean, it's not even that. It's just like, here's what would be worse than even nuclear war in the minds of like those who care about this sort of thing. America and China rely on one another. America needs treats, and they are a massive consuming force. Those treats are oftentimes manufactured in China. So we need China for manufacturing, and China needs us to purchase the treats. So for that reason, ultimately, it's always ridiculous when people are fucking arguing back and forth with one another over what the fuck should happen in China. Okay? That's why when Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan, it was a big deal. It was like ridiculous. It was fucking up the bag for no reason. The majority of Taiwanese people definitely do still favor, especially the Taiwanese youth, as far as I understand, favor independence. But the majority of Taiwanese people are like, don't rock the boat. Let's keep it going the way it's been going. Don't fuck this up. That is usually, that is the broadest position in Taiwan. Obviously, it ranges from the second largest group, the plurality, saying that they would inevitably want independence from China. And then all the way down to like the most unhinged group of people that believe that mainland China is actually, it belongs to Taiwan. Okay? But that group is like fucking ridiculous and ultimately irrelevant and nowhere near as important in Taiwanese politics as they once were. So we wouldn't be able to find clothes in our stores if they went to war with China. Plus, they have all the manufacturing now, which made America recover after Pearl Harbor. They would destroy our Navy and we wouldn't be able to do a thing. No, that's not. Well, no. Yeah. My Taiwanese friends think that. That's so weird to hold on to like a grudge of being fucking owned. Anyway, dude, huge anus, you have to fucking stop with this. Take a day off. Your my cock jokes are it's so bad, dude. I get it. You constantly do it over and over again. It's like more annoying. Like, I get it. Your name is huge anus. You already fucking have that going for you. Please stop. Anyway, so that's the China stuff. That's where we're at with China. Let's take a look